year is 1949. On the order of the Lord Lovat, a haggis is made in Glasgow and readied for shipment 5,000 miles to Chicago by way of London and New York for the Chicago Scots' 104th annual St Andrew's Day feast. In London, the intrepid haggis meets its first challenge. Thumbing through his book of rules and regulations, an official of the British Board of Trade announces that haggis is food and Great Britain is not exporting any food. He orders the haggis to be grounded. Upon hearing of the seizure of this great chieftain of the pudding race, Chicago Scots President Bob Black roars into action. "We've had trouble with the British for 700 years. That haggis is part of the ceremony and we can't do without it." He calls in favours at the very highest levels of power. Quite literally, he takes his problem to the United Nations. And soon the matter makes its way to the floor of the House of Commons in London, as Sir Ian Fraser quizzes the Paymaster General of Overseas Trade about this stranded haggis. Then, to the rescue comes an unknown hero, who volunteers to take the haggis with him to New York under the rule allowing air passengers to carry food for their own consumption. Scots gather in New York to welcome the haggis, but before their horrified eyes, a United States border official seizes it, pronounces it a danger to cattle, as it's a possible carrier of foot and mouth disease, and orders its destruction by fire. Scots across America protest with renewed outrage. This shakes the halls of power in Washington, D.C., and a doctor from the Bureau of Animal Industry is immediately dispatched to LaGuardia Airport. After careful examination, it's determined that the haggis is fit for consumption and can be safely admitted to the United States. As the headlines in the newspapers read, first it was Haggis Captivus, next it was Haggis Incineratus, then Haggis Liberatus. Despite the indignities to which it is subjected, the haggis travels on, arriving at a snowbound O'Hare Airport to a much warmer, kindlier welcome. The pipes and drums of the Stockyard Kilty Band, and eventually on to a fitting end, addressed with the Robert Burns poem, "Consumed and Enjoyed by Happy Chicago Scots."